You ever get the feeling that you're not as successful as you should be? Now, this is not saying that what I've accomplished so far doesn't matter, but when I look at the grand scheme of things, I know I have what it takes to be 10 times better. I just haven't been applying the right pressure. And if you're anything like me, you probably feel as though like you've put your car in neutral quite too soon. Before I fully unpack my thoughts, I want to clarify what I mean when I use the term millionaire, because you see the title, and today what I want to talk about is honestly why I'm not a millionaire yet. But it's important that I clarify what a millionaire means to me, because I think that most of the society that we live in, we got it confused, right? And so when I use the term millionaire, I'm not talking about generating $1 million in revenue over a matter of years that you've been in business, right? I feel as though there are people screaming from the top of their lungs that they're millionaires, they're driving fancy cars, wearing flashy clothes, all the things, and they're screaming that they're millionaires, but in reality, they've generated $1 million over the duration of like 10 years of them being in business or something like that, right? And that's not what a millionaire is to me, right? Because if it was, I would be one already. However, when I say millionaire, I'm referring to generating $1 million in one calendar year or growing my net worth to $1 million. And while thankfully I'm wildly blessed, I've done neither of those things. And I feel as though I finally know why. Actually, not I feel as though, I know exactly why. So I recently turned 30, the big 30, the number that people say is life-changing, right? All I wanted for my 30th birthday was to be able to reflect and reset and honestly just recharge and gear up for what my next level is supposed to be. I was able to go on an amazing trip across the world to Europe, where I visited France, Italy, Spain, Malta, the whole nine, right? And while I was on that trip, I actually got really, really sick. That is another topic for another video. But even though I got sick, me getting sick allowed me to rest, which is what I asked God for. And then it actually gave me the time to reflect. I actually became an entrepreneur in my 20s. I became a full-time entrepreneur in 2019, and I had tested out entrepreneurship a few years before that. All of that happened within my 20s. So I took the time to reflect on my 20s and honestly my entire life. And I realized that every single time I experienced a new level or a new world of blessings, it was because I had to overcome a certain challenge. It was because I had to beat a new devil, quote unquote, if you will, right? And I'm sure you know the saying, new level, new devil. I think that sometimes we only think about that saying as it pertains to people. We think that as we level up, we're going to meet these new people or these new personalities that we have to learn either how to cope with or how to conquer, or in some regard. But in reality, new level, new devil doesn't necessarily only pertain to people. And quite frankly, even if it only pertained to people, sometimes that person is yourself. Think about it, right? Every level that we unlock, every new level that we unlock, in my opinion, there is something that we have to conquer mentally, physically, spiritually within our own lives in order to be able to attain what that next level goal is. But I never took the time to sit down and think about what the current challenge was in my current state, in my current life. What were the lessons that I needed to learn? What were the skills that I needed to attain? What was the mindset block that I needed to get over in this season for me to be able to get to that next level? For me, I know that my next level is $1 million. For you, your next level may be hitting six figures. It may be your first 100,000. It may be 500,000. Heck, you may even be further along than me, and your next level may be $5 million next year. But the point of this statement is that you are probably stuck because you haven't taken the time to pay attention to the tests that have been sent your way. And you haven't taken the time to pay attention to your surroundings or just what's happening in your life, in your business, for you to realize the challenges that are at hand, the resources that you're supposed to tap into, and the growth that you're supposed to experience on a mindset level, on a physical level, and on a spiritual level in order to be able to attain that next level goal for you of six figures or 500,000 or $1 million, right? And as I reflected on all of that and I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh, Chanel, you have been holding yourself back. You have put yourself in neutral. You have put yourself in this state of chill when in reality, you were supposed to be armoring up and fighting whatever challenge that God sent your way. But then also you were supposed to be indulging in certain resources and certain information to really level your entire life up. People look at me and they think that I haven't made because I've hit six figures. I've hit multiple six figures, and I've been able to accomplish a lot of things as an entrepreneur that some people don't get to accomplish in a lifetime. And I am ultimately so grateful for that. I am ultimately so grateful that I get to travel to places that people dream of, right? I get to travel across the world in style. I get to do like the wildest excursions, right? And I am so blessed. And I told myself when I started my business, right? When I went full throttle with being a full-time entrepreneur, I told myself and I told God that if he gave me the ball, I will not fumble it. And quite frankly, in the season that I was in, I would say the first half of this year and some of last year, I feel as though I was letting the ball be fumbled because I put myself in a state of neutral quite too soon. And so whatever your next level may be, you may find yourself stuck in neutral as well. And while being in neutral is a state of rest and a state of observation, you know that it's time for you to kick it into drive and go full throttle toward your dreams. If that's you, you're listening or watching, I should say, the right video because I'm right along with you, girl or guy. And although this video is a little different and it may seem like my personal diary, I pray that what I share in this video impacts you. I get to be transparent and share my thoughts while giving you guys footage that you guys normally wouldn't see. So I get to show you those visuals while spitting some real truth on the back end. I actually got the idea for this video style from Erin on Demand. She calls these types of videos pod vlogs, and honestly, if it ain't broke, I'm not going to try to fix it. So welcome to my first pod vlog. If you love this style of video, please leave a comment down below and let me know what your takeaways are. Share your thoughts. Also, let me know what you would want me to share my thoughts on, because ultimately this style of video is to allow me to share motivational life lessons that honestly pushes you to take action and has some sort of impact on you. Which is why I had to share the reasons I'm not a millionaire yet with you, because I know that these 3 core issues that I'm experiencing, a bunch of entrepreneurs are experiencing the same thing. And you that are listening to this, you're probably experiencing this too. Because after reflecting on everything, I realized that all of my challenges, whether they were mental, physical, or spiritual, were a direct result of three core issues that I had yet to fix within my life. And these three core issues were what were stopping me from my next level. So the first issue, or the first reason I should say, of why I'm not a millionaire yet is because I haven't fully committed to routine. Routines, systems, all of the things are created to give you some sense of organization, some sense of management over your life. And although you'll hear people say that they became an entrepreneur to be free and to have the freedom and to not have to clock in and not have a boss and all the things. Yes, entrepreneurship can be freeing in some regard, but at the end of the day, it is vastly different than you going to a 9 to 5. At a 9 to 5, you have a manager, you have to clock in, you have to clock out, you have certain tasks that are put on your desk for you to complete within a certain time frame. With entrepreneurship, you set the time frame. With entrepreneurship, you have to have the discipline to clock in and clock out respectively, and you have to have the discipline to manage yourself. And without that, you will never be successful. If you never have the discipline to be able to manage your time, manage yourself, task at hand, you will never be as successful as you want to be. And I realized this um, in major part due to my millionaire mentor and coach. Her name is Maya Elias. And during our time in DR, she pulled back the curtains to show us what her systems look like in her business and what her systems, more importantly, look like in her life. When I tell you that this lady has everything broken down to a T, she even has a spreadsheet where she keeps her inventory of things within her household, down to the brand and the scent of hand soap that she wants her assistant to refill for her. It is insanely genius. That is the type of organization and the type of systems that I need in my life. Because you may think that, oh, she's doing too much. Like, you got an inventory of stuff that is in your house. You have an inventory of the brand of cereal that you want and when to replace it and the whole nine. But in reality, you give yourself the space and the creativity to make the hard decisions when you take away those measly, tiny decisions that we sit here and debate on every single day. Or why do I need to spend 10 minutes in a Walmart aisle, or actually, let's say Target, in a Target aisle debating on a scent of hand soap or a brand of hand soap when I already know what my favorites are? Just go in, grab the soap, refill it on this day, and let's keep it trucking, right? That gives me the space to make the hard decisions that are revenue generating decisions within my business. And honestly, to just make greater decisions within my life as well. Another example of having a routine that you're committed to comes from one of the, let's just call her a millionaire bestie that was in DR as well with us. She had experienced her first 100K month, and she ended up hitting another 100K month as well in August. And when I tell you that this girl wakes up every day, records a minimum of 3 TikToks and schedules them out. She doesn't care where she's at. She doesn't care how she looks. She is going to use what is around her and the experiences that she's going through that day, that weekend, that week to create a TikTok that makes sense and that resonates for her audience. That one routine alone, she's able to make thousands of dollars in sales every single day. If only I had the same level of discipline as Shaquille. If only you had the same level of discipline as Shaquille. How much further would you be in your journey? How closer would you be to your goals if you had the amount of discipline to create a routine and show up for yourself on a daily? Now, the second reason why I'm not a millionaire yet is because I haven't made leveling up my knowledge a priority. Yes, I do invest in myself. I invest to get into rooms and the whole nine, but the knowledge that I'm talking about is the specific knowledge comes from books, that comes from classes and things like that. See, I graduated from a 4-year institution. I graduated from the University of Florida. My mindset has always been that there's room to learn and there's room to grow. I never think that there is a time where I know everything, because I don't. There's somebody out there that knows more than me, and there's room for me to learn whatever that may be. So I know that there's areas in my life and in my business that I need to improve on. And there's knowledge out there, whether it's in the form of a book from Barnes and Noble, whether it's going to be in the form of an audio book from Audible, or whether it's going to be me taking a certification program at somebody's college. And so I actually have started to take my Audible account more serious, and I have been binging some books that are opening up my mind in a creative way, opening up my mind in a structural way, the whole nine. And that actually brings me to reason number 3 of why I'm not a millionaire yet. Because one of the books that I have read actually showed me this, in addition to me being around one of my other millionaire mentors. And the third reason is I am not putting my money to work. See, a lot of people think that the harder you work, the more products you sell, the more services you offer, et cetera, is the more money that you make. But that is not necessarily true. Working harder is not the way to making more money, especially when it comes to you achieving millionaire status. It's all about working smarter and increasing your impact. For example, one of the books that I recently listened to on Audible is called Eat That Frog. In Eat That Frog, Brian Tracy says that you need to procrastinate on purpose. He says that you cannot do everything. You must learn how to deliberately put off the tasks that are low value so that you have enough time to do the few things that really count, aka working smarter, not harder. In the book, he expresses the concept of how you need to split your tasks into A, B, C, D, and E. Your A task, you must do. Your B task, you should do. Your C tasks are nice to do, but typically have no consequences if you don't. Your D task means that it needs to get done, but not necessarily by you, so you need to delegate them. And then your E task, there's really no value in getting them done or delegating them, so just eliminate them. Get rid of them altogether. When I started to look at my business and my life like this, my mind started to change. And I did my annual planning for next year. And the way that I have mapped out my $1,000,000 year is completely different than how I would have mapped it out a year or 2 years ago. And it's simply because I have decided to, quote unquote, procrastinate on purpose, or work smarter and increase my impact versus working harder. Now, the next thing I should say, or the next part of putting my money to work, is honestly building an army with my money. It's important that I do not hog the money that I make, but instead I put my money to work for me. And one of the reasons why I feel like I've been stuck at this level so long is because I have put myself in this bubble of the brand hustler only, and I haven't ventured off to do anything else. And I had to check myself and say, Chanel, you have built a strong enough brand. Not only that, but you know how to build brands where you can venture off and create something new, whether it's connected to the brand hustler or whether it's not. You can venture off and create something new that will impact the world, that will generate a lot of revenue. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. In 2024, I am committed to starting new businesses, building new brands, and I'm so excited about it. One of the new brands that I'm creating is actually a new personal brand, and it's a YouTube channel. So I'll leave the link in the description if you want to check it out. It's all about living your ultimate life, evolving into womanhood, and just honestly doing the dang thing. Travel, home decor, experiencing life's luxuries, and all of that. But I am also going to be documenting my new business journey and what it's like to build new brands. So definitely make sure that you subscribe to this channel and stay tuned for that. But I want you to walk away from this video asking yourself, am I stuck in neutral? And if I am stuck in neutral, What are the core issues that I have not yet gotten over? I have not yet learned the skill set or conquered the challenge or utilized the resource to push through to get over that will allow me to unlock what my next level is. Ask yourself that. And then let me know what those core issues are in the comments and let's have a conversation. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Bye, hustle babes. Peace. Love y'all.